I have created two similar applications for Django and Symfony that use its framework standard. Those applications fetch data from MySQL 8. Both instances are using the same version of Apache 2. To make sure that everything is fair, we got two similar setups on an AWS EC2 instance in Amazon that got a virtual CPU and 1 GB of RAM for each framework. And to keep things completely fair, both applications are set up for production and both applications use the guidelines of their documentation. The applications are straightforward. Both use one route model, one templating that extends a base template. And I have made everything accessible in a GitHub repository and you can find details in the description. To benchmark this, I will be using Gmeter. It's an open source software that is famous for its modularity and easy to install plugins. And I add two sites, so we will test both sites in the same time because both they are in different servers. And we will focus on three main metrics: the summary report and the response time over time and the CPU collector metric. Now the CPU collector metric requires me to have a client that is running on the server. So I will start the test with 20 concurrent users. That will sum up in a runtime period of 10 seconds and the whole test will last for 50 seconds. So this is just a light test because 20 users are not much. And we are ready, so let's go. And as we see here, this is the active thread. So in 10 seconds there should be a 20 user and the 20 user will last for 15 seconds the whole test. We are 11 seconds, 12, 13, 14 and then 15. Now let me go please first to response time over time, and as we see here, Django is the red, Symfony is the purple, and both they started similar under 55 milliseconds. But Django just rises dramatically and reaches something like 500 milliseconds, where Symfony stays stable and is playing around 40 milliseconds and maybe 80 milliseconds. Now the CPU usage metric is not really different. We have the blue line, the Symfony server. This is the Django server, the red line is, and both started under 10% CPU usage. And as we increment concurrent user, the CPU usage rises by Python dramatically to 70, then 95%, where here Symfony really plays between 25 and maximum reach a 40% CPU usage. Now let's look to the summary report, because here I have one metric which is important, is the error rate. Now both framework have an error rate of 0, which is fine and good. Now honestly, this is 20 concurrent users are really light, not really lot of load. Now I'm going to increment this to 50 and see how things get crazy here. So 50, and let me clear the previous history and start again. So let's see the active thread over time, and as we see here, in 10 seconds should reach 50 concurrent user. Let's see the response time over time. Now this metric is not really different from the previous metric, but as we see here, both started almost the same in the 50 millisecond response time. And Symfony stays stable, even didn't, the longest was something like 72 milliseconds, where Python have reached like 1 second, 300 milliseconds. Now let's navigate to the CPU usage metric, and let's see here that the Python server, again the red, before 3 seconds already reached its top. It is really playing between 95 and 90% CPU usage, where we have Symfony stays between 30 and 40 CPU usage. Didn't even pass that barrier of 40% CPU usage. Now the last metric we are going to see is the summary report, and the error rate here is very important. And as we see here, Python Django has reached a 4% error rate, and that's normal with really high CPU usage, whereby Symfony only has 0%. This is really interesting, but however, ladies and gentlemen, our test revealed to us that Symfony running under PHP uses approximately 3 times less resources and really much faster than Django running under Python, when both frameworks use identical resources and under the same load. I honestly was expecting that Symfony will win this competition, But however, I was surprised by the way how it went and the distance between the two frameworks. And this got me thinking that Symfony and PHP in general is really underrated. I don't know if this is true. Tell me please what you think in the comments. So again, I post all this work on repository. I write also documentation. You can check in the description. I hope you enjoy watching and see you next time.